My Potato is Falling Off by Henry Gibson. My potato is falling off, and I haven't even got to peel it. I guess I should have stood still or put up a fence, but I got so used to the way it just balanced, I never imagined it might just, whoops, there it goes. Oh well, I've still got my turnip.
Very interesting.
Hello, good beans, and welcome back to Midnight Requiem. Today we will be talking about Henry Gibson, an American actor, comedian, and poet. He was born September 21st, 1935 in Germantown, Philadelphia, the sixth of seven children of Edmund Albert Bateman, 1896 to 1980, and his wife Dorothy Cassidy, 1903 to 1975. He attended St. Joseph's Preparatory School, where he was president of the drama club. Gibson had English, Irish, German, and distant Dutch ancestry. After graduating from a Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C., he served as an intelligence officer in the United States Air Force with the 65th Tactical Renaissance Wing in France from 1957 to 1960. Early in his career as a professional entertainer, he developed a comedy act in which he played a poet for Fairhope, Alabama. He adopted the stage name Henry Gibson, which is the same sounding phrase for the name of famed Norwegian dramatist Henrik Ibsen. He also is known to have used the name Olsen Gibson. Gibson began his acting career at the age of 8 years old as a touring performer for the Mas Desmond Theatre. For 9 years, he appeared in many stage and theater productions. Gibson made many appearances on Tonight starring Jack Parr between 1957 and 1962, often reciting his poetry. In 1962, his appearance coincided with guest host Jerry Lewis. Lewis, charmed by Gibson's demeanor, subsequently cast him in The Nutty Professor, 1963. Gibson's career took off following this film appearance, that was followed in 1964 by his poetry reciting cowboy character Quirt Manley on the popular show The Beverly Hillbillies. Around this time, Gibson appeared in an episode of My Favorite Martian. Gibson spent 3 years as a part of the Laugh-In television show cast, where he was nominated for a Golden Globe in 1971. He often played the poet, reciting poems with sharp satirical or political themes. Gibson would emerge from behind a stage flat wearing suit and a tie and holding an outlandish large artificial flower. He would bow stiffly from the waist, state title of poem by Henry Gibson, an ironic Southern U.S. accent, again bow stiffly from the waist, recite his poem, and return behind the flat. Gibson's routine was so memorable that guests on the program occasionally performed it, including John Wayne, in his own inimitable style. The Sky by John Wayne. The sky is blue, grass is green, get off your butt and join the Marines. Whereupon Wayne left the scene by smashing through the flat. Gibson also regularly appeared in a cocktail party segment as a Catholic priest. Sipping tea, he would put the cup on the saucer, recite his one-liner in a grave and somber tone, then go back to sipping tea. In 1962, Gibson had recorded a comedy album on Liberty Records titled Alligator. The album was reissued in 1968, now titled by Henry Gibson, following his success on Laugh-In. The liner notes perpetrated the origin story of his being a country boy from Fairhope, Alabama. The album did not reach the Billboard Top 200 in either release. In 1968, Gibson appeared on the television show Bewitched as Napoleon Bonaparte. He appeared on Bewitched in 1970 as Tim O'Shatner, a leprechaun around his time. Gibson also made recurring appearances in 1969 to 1974 anthology Love American Style. During the 1960s, Gibson had appeared on the Dick Van Dyke Show, reading the poem Keep It Going, which he later turned into a song in the Robert Altman movie Nashville 1975. Notably, he was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for his portrayal of Haven Hamilton in the film and won National Society of Film Critics Award for the role. The Nashville Tennessean called Gibson the male superstar, most surely to be in line for an Academy Award, and hailed his performance as being so real to music row habitués as to be frightening. Gibson appeared in 3 other films directed by Altman: The Long Goodbye, starring Elliot Gould, A Perfect Couple, and Health. In 1978, he appeared in The New Adventures of Wonder Woman as an arch-villain Mariposa. 2 years later, he appeared on The Dukes of Hazzard as Will Jason Squirt in the second season episode Find Loretta Lynn. The same year, he played the leader of the Illinois Nazis in the John Landis film The Blue Brothers. This became one of his better-known film roles. The next year, he appeared in The Incredible Shrinking Woman. He played conman Henry Bemis on The Love Boat, Season 6, Episode 11, A Christmas Presents, which aired December 18, 1982. In 1989, John Dante comedy The Burbs starring Tom Hanks, Gibson played the villain. He reunited with director Dante a year later when Gremlins 2: The New Batch was released in 1990, performing a cameo as the office worker who is caught taking a smoke break on camera and fired by a sadistic boss. 1996 saw him playing an unusual dramatic role as former train conductor Robinson in the independent film Color of a Brisk and Leaping Day with Michael Stipe. That year, he was also the voice of Adolf Eichmann in Keith Gordon's film adaptation of Kurt Vonnegut's novel Mother Night. During 1999, Gibson made an appearance in Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia as an eccentric Bartley who antagonized former child prodigy Donnie Smith, played by William H. Macy. Gibson also worked frequently as a voice actor in animation, most notably portraying Wilbur the Pig in the popular Hanna-Barbera children's movie Charlotte's Web. He later worked for the company again on the cartoon The Biscuits. Additionally, Gibson's voice work was featured on The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy as Lord Payne, King of the Hill as reporter Bob Jenkins, and Rocket Power as grouchy neighbor Merv Templeton. Later television work included a guest role on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, playing the Ferengi Neva in the 1998 episode Prophet and Lace. Gibson also had a leading role in a Season 5 episode of Stargate SG-1 entitled The Sentinel as the character Morel. His last major roles were in the 2005 film Wedding Crashers as Father O'Neill and on the television show Boston Legal as recurring character Judge Clark Brown. In April 6, 1966, Gibson married Louise Joan Geiger. They had 3 sons together: Jonathan David Gibson, an executive at Universal Pictures, Charles Alexander Gibson, a director and visual effects supervisor, and James Gibson, a screenwriter. Lois passed away on May 6, 2007 at age 77. Gibson passed away of cancer on September 14, 2009, 1 week before his 74th birthday. He was cremated at Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery, and his ashes were given to his family. Leave a white heart in the comments in remembrance of them. And as always, be loving and caring, my good beans.